personal beef at all.
Yeah.
But obviously, he gave an interview the other day. It was asking for one-word answers to names. My name came up, and his one-word answer was prick.
Yeah.
So he basically just abused me from out of nowhere.
Blindsided
and I just think,
you.
yeah, exactly, blindsided me. So it's a bit like, listen, if you've got something to say like that, give me a call. You've got my number, or come on the channel, come on Frost on Fighting.
Yeah.
We'll debate it. But he doesn't want to. He wants to be snide in the background, say something, which causes me a bit of an issue and a bit of backlash. Why is AJ saying that?
Yeah.
You know, so I've got to stand up as a man and make him be countered and front him and say, why are you calling me that? What's the reasoning behind your opinion on me?
This is it.
And that's what I did. I just messaged him and said, who the fuck are you calling a prick? That's what I'd say to anybody.
Yeah.
So I've asked him, and he's come back, and I'll tell you what, I've shared 10% of the messages, and the one that I shared, whether I should or shouldn't have done it, I shared the bit where he's flashing a bit of cash around a Rolex watch, saying you're not on my level. I mean, it's schoolboy stuff. It's like plastic gangster stuff.
10s and 20s.
Yeah, it's pathetic, really. It's childish, and it's a bit ridiculous. And I think he's be cringing to himself now.
Yeah.
But
regretting that.
What I've done is I've shared it because why should I be abused by somebody in his position and be called that name for no real reason without saying, hang on a minute, you can stand up and be counted now. Stand by your conviction and explain yourself. And that's all I've done. I've asked him to explain himself.
Yeah, which is fair
and
enough.
I've had a barrage of abuse direct to me. Like I said, I've kept 90% of what he said away. He's messaged me again overnight and deleted 4 of the messages.
Yeah.
So what's he doing? He's messaging me, probably abusing me, and then
that's something that your jilted ex does. Sends you messages and then deletes them. Why
sending the messages, deleting them. So he's probably abusing me. He's probably saying stuff that his PR people behind him saying, "Oh, delete that if he's not ready. Get rid of it." Yeah. That's fine. But if you've got something to say, get on my channel. Come and have a conversation.
That's it.
Or at least give me a ring. And I don't mind meeting up and dealing with it like men. But if you're going to do little backstab jibes and send me messages abusing me and then deleting stuff, and then you don't pick your phone up when I try and give you a call to have a conversation with you man to man, then what am I going to do?
Yeah.
I'm going to just expose you for what you are. And to be honest, I'm not really bothered. I've been laughing about it. It's a bit of fun for me because I can't care what Anthony Joshua or any of his fanboys think of me.
No.
Because that's what I do. I'm just honest.
Yeah.
I wear my heart on my sleeve.
That's why we love you, Carl.
Try and be truthful and honest. And if it's not good and you don't like it, I don't give a shit.
In terms of they're trying to get 100,000 crowd, obviously you fought George Groves in a rematch in front of 80,000. Let's talk about Tyson Fury. Do you think he could ever sell 100,000 tickets if it wasn't against AJ? Do you think he's got that same kind of draw as you even?
So who's the 100,000 going to be for? Who the top?
AJ and Dubois, apparently.
AJ Dubois.
Yeah.
It might be. AJ's a big name. He's
sold out Wembley before, hasn't he? I think Tyson Fury's only ever fought at Wembley once.
Him and Klitschko did 90,000 apparently. Yeah. I mean, I don't know who's counting these seats, to be honest. I saw some empty seats in the top tiers. But listen, I think an all-British affair, heavyweight. People are growing on Dubois now.
Yeah.
You know, AJ had a bit of a stinker at that press thing they did the other day. He made himself look like he's a bit worried.
That's it.
So people will feed on that. They'll see that Dubois confident.
People might like to back the underdog as well in Dubois.
Listen, whether it does 80,000, 100,000, whatever the crowd is, we're going to have a big crowd at Wembley Stadium in Britain, and it's a heavyweight, all British affair. And listen, this might go down very badly, but I'll be honest, this feels to me like a British level fight. This is British because Anthony Joshua, every time he stepped up to the plate, he's got beat.
Yeah.
Lost to Ruiz, lost to Usyk twice. He wasn't even in the fight with Usyk, really. No. He had a couple of good rounds, but let's be honest, he got outclassed. Daniel Dubois lost to Joe Joyce, and he lost to Usyk. Yeah? He was accused of quitting. I'm not going to say he quit, but he got beat quite conclusively. So these are two guys that lose at top level, find each other for a vacant world title.
Yeah, it's not the creme de la creme.
A title that Usyk's vacated, and Usyk's beat both of them. So they're not even fighting for number 2 position. But let's not downplay that.
It's still an exciting fight.
It's a British level fight between 2 big heavyweights, and I think Dubois could go on and have a very good future. I think if Anthony Joshua loses, it could be the last we see of him.
Yeah, it's true. Well, you were saying there that the heavyweight division at the moment isn't what it used to be. Like you said, Frank Bruno would have...
Listen, it's all about timing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the Frank Bruno that fought Lennox Lewis...
top of his game.
Yeah, was that in Cardiff? I think it might have been.
Back in the 90s, was it?
Yeah, back in the 90s. That Frank Bruno, that Fran Bruno beats Anthony Joshua. I'm sorry, but he just does.
Yeah.
Have a look at that fight if you've not seen it. Bruno Lewis. That was a good one. And it is all about timing, and you can't hold that against Anthony Joshua or any of the current heavyweights. But it's very thin now. The landscape of heavyweight boxing.
Yeah, it's not that much there.
It's not what it used to be.
No.
And those are the words, once again, of Carl the Cobra Froch, as he reveals, or he feels, that AJ would get beat by Frank Bruno. And I would disagree on that. You know, just speaking of that, I look at Frank Bruno. I've seen Frank fight. I've seen Frank, you know, been defeated. I know he was scared against Mike Tyson. Frank Bruno was okay, but I mean, he was a decent champion. He was loved by, you know, the British fans. But I mean, I don't think that would be the case, you know, and that's just an opinion on, you know, from Carl Froch anyway. But I'll say this. The 10% of the things that he revealed, and he said that AJ has reached out to him and then, or reached out to him, he sent him messages and then deleted them. You guys know, and anybody that follows my channel, that's one thing I don't like at all, is apprehensiveness. You know what I mean? You don't, and AJ's no exception. If you sit there and you send someone a message and then you delete it, and then that person calls you and then you don't answer the phone, that is some feminine shit. Let's just face it. He's done that before, and I wondered, okay, don't do that. You know what I mean? Because here's the thing. I think AJ, if you're gonna be yourself, be yourself. If you're gonna send them messages, send those messages. You know what I mean? Because it wasn't really an explanation. See, we can sit here to explain why Carl is a prick. Because he's done a lot of prickish shit over the years. You know what I mean? Let me give you an example. Based on what we've seen here, okay? You claim that AJ quit on his feet against Ruiz, but you didn't see that Daniel Dubois quit against Usyk. And we all know what that was. This man got hit with a jab, and he took a knee. He got down on both of his knees. And you don't call that as someone that quits. But then you're going to call AJ a quitter because he quits at Madison Square Garden? Or you say he quits on his feet? When he's telling the ref, yeah, I'm ready. You know what I mean? Like that's one of those biased things. So you can't, and for Carl saying, hey, you know, he shouldn't do those things. No, he shouldn't. Because it does show apprehensiveness. It shows weakness. You know, it shows that you're not really assertive about what you plan to do. And for him wasting energy on Carl Froch, he should be worried about the guy that he's going to fight, and that's Daniel Dubois. That's another thing. That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, okay, you got time to go back and forth with someone that's retired. That's someone that you're creating a bigger platform for being a criticizer of you, and then having good reason for being a criticizer to you as time goes by. Like Carl Froch. Carl Froch he's made all his money. Anthony Joshua is a current fighter. So for him to spend energy on Carl, that's just giving Carl power. See, that reminds me of when Wilder used to say these things about Joshua. And you hardly ever heard anything from Joshua. I think if that's his persona, he needs to keep that shit. But if it's something else, he should have let it be known. And I was even frustrated back in those days because I'm like, dude, AJ, you going to say something about this fucking guy? Calling you A-Juice and J, and you're a coward, and you're scared, and you're this, and you're that. You're Annabelle, you're a cow, and Eddie Hearn's milking you and all this shit. You know what I mean? Like, it was like to the point like, okay, well, you can't really defend the person that's not even talking and defending himself. We can talk about the situation and how the other guy may be off or whatever. Like Wilder, I feel that was a lot of those times, but still, he was creating his career off of the back of AJ talking about him. Now, Carl Froch is doing that without even fighting. He's doing that in the podcast world. You see what I'm saying? So, like, for AJ wasting time on Carl Froch, I think it's just stupid. Or Carl Froch is really getting under his skin. And if I'm AJ, I would just tell him, like, this is why I think you are. First, you did this, you did A, you did B, you did C, you did D, you did E, and then you did F. And then you want to act like, it's like, why are you having problems? Listen, that's just like me saying, if Andy Ruiz said something jacked up about me, right, and he has probably every reason to, because I've said some stuff about Andy Ruiz that maybe he or his father didn't like over the years. And I'm not biting my tongue on it. I'm not reneging on it. I said what I said about Andy Ruiz because he should have done a lot more in his career after he beat Anthony Joshua. Matter of fact, after he lost the rematch to Anthony Joshua. But for me to say, I don't know why Andy Ruiz is talking this shit about me, it's stupid. And that's where Carl's at. I don't know why. Yeah, you do. Because this guy had confided in you, and then you guys trained with the same trainer. You guys he was the networking promoted fighter on Sky Sports where you worked at, in every possibility you had, you took a jab at him. So people knew that shit. People knew that. But don't say you don't know how it happened. Just say, yeah, I said some things about him that might have hit his ego a bit and might not have been too nice. And for that, maybe I shouldn't have done that. That's a real life person. That's a real honest answer. Not this shit he's talking about. Well, I think it's kind of funny. Yeah, I would think it's funny too if it's creating views for my channel. You see what I mean? Because there's no reason for Carl Froch to have any other dealings with Anthony Joshua, because Joshua's on his way out anyway, and Carl Froch has been out. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Carl Froch now stating that the plastic gangster Anthony Joshua would get defeated by someone like Frank Bruno. The fight isn't that big between himself and Daniel Dubois. Of course, please subscribe, and you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!